Many of us yesterday were moved by the scenes of Her Majesty the Queen arriving, clearly looking quite frail. It's been reported in the press, and actually Her Majesty has made reference to it herself. She isn't as mobile as she used to be. She's stopped walking her corgis, a pastime that she absolutely loved. She cannot ride her horses anymore. And, it's quite clear that this is a woman in her mid-90s. Let's be honest about that. So the scenes of seeing her absolutely determined to get to Westminster Abbey yesterday for this service of Thanksgiving, despite all of the issues that she's having at the minute, I think was really touching. And I think it was a nation moved by that, especially when we saw that she had a ruby brooch on that she'd been given as a present by His Royal Highness the late and great Duke of Edinburgh over 50 years ago. And you look at these scenes and you can't help but feel the bond between the two of them. She was finally able, Her Majesty the Queen was finally able to say goodbye to someone who had been by her side throughout thick and thin, throughout it all. A very, very beautiful love story, frankly. Now, it was almost sullied by Prince Andrew, who took it upon himself to escort Her Majesty the Queen as she walked in to Westminster Abbey to take a place at the ceremony. 45 minutes long it was, which is quite fitting for the man himself who didn't like things to drag on forever, short but sweet. And it was sweet. As I say, Prince Andrew tried to make it about him a little bit, but, well, Prince Andrew will be Prince Andrew, won't he? And at the end of the day, it's the Queen's son. What's she supposed to do? Tell him to sod off? I don't think that's remotely plausible. But I tell you what, folks, what struck me, was the fact that Prince Harry said, I can't go for security issues, right? I can't go because the British state won't pay for my security. I wouldn't feel safe. So he missed out on the opportunity to properly say goodbye to someone, I think, that wasn't just Harry's granddad, but who felt like a granddad in most of our lives. He'd always been there, right, for a very long time, generation after generation. And Prince Harry said, I'm not going, because he's, got his knickers in a twist and he's throwing a strop and a tantrum over the fact that British taxpayers will no longer pay for his security. Pay for it yourself. You're making millions out of Spotify. You're making millions out of Netflix. Pay for it yourself, right? But I think actually Harry's going to come to regret this. I really, really do. To not say goodbye to someone that he was intensely close to until perhaps those later years. But it's a tragic, tragic state of affairs. And I think it's one that he'll live to regret. But it speaks volumes about him and his priorities these days, doesn't it? It's really sad, actually. And to not be there for your granny. I just can't imagine ever doing that to my family. I don't know about you. But there we are, folks. Says it all about the man.